Hi guys, Good Grographer here, and welcome to episode 1 of Know Your Role. Since this is the first episode, I should probably introduce you guys to the series. And basically, I want to go over all 6 of the roles in Overwatch, and cover what your job is and how to go about achieving it with every character within the role. The 6 episodes will be on main tank, off tank, main support, flex support, hit scan DPS, and finally projectile DPS. And these episodes will likely come out within the month, hopefully. I do get a bit distracted. But before the video starts, I would highly suggest that no matter what role you play in Overwatch, you watch all of these episodes, as they will help you understand Overwatch as a game much better, providing you with an understanding of what everyone in your role and the enemy team is trying to achieve. And I promise that this knowledge will help you become a better player. Also, if you guys end up enjoying the videos and you want to see more, why not leave a like and subscribe? It doesn't cost you anything and helps my channel grow and reach more people. But as you clicked on this video, you probably are more than aware that this episode is going to cover main tanks. And in my opinion, I believe that main tank is the most important role within Overwatch, as your team is so reliant on you setting them up and denying the enemy team opportunities to win fights. Your role as main tank is to either engage or prevent fights, and lead the way for your team to follow safely. This can be done by using shields, CCing targets, or even just eliminating enemies from the fight. Your job primarily comes down to one core concept, which is map control. By controlling the map, you decide where the enemy has to path, and where the fights take place. In most scenarios, the team with the better positioning will win the fight, and map controls defines who can position where. Each of the main tanks go about map control differently, and I will discuss how each of these tanks need to position and use their abilities to control the map. The 4 primary main tanks in Overwatch are Reinhardt, Winston, Erisa, and Hammond, and each of these tanks go about map control differently, and as such, which tank you want will depend on the map, composition, and win condition. Let's start with the original main tank Reinhardt. Let's go about discussing how he controls the map and makes space available for his team. His most identifiable tanking ability is his shield, as it allows his team to advance alongside him with full protection from the front, but he can also force enemies back just by walking towards them. Since he has a lot of health and does quite a lot of damage, no squishy target wants to be anywhere near him, and as such, they will back up when he's advancing. He uses his shield and natural cover to advance forward towards objectives or contested area, and then will often have a long-lasting footsie battle to see which tank line can outlast the other and claim the area. In short, Reinhardt controls the map by cleaning the ground behind him, denying access to it by the other team, allowing his team to take better position, which in turn helps to make more ground. And that's generally how team fights will go with Ryan. Next up is Erisa. Erisa is very similar to Reinhardt, except she is more kitted out to be more of an area denier than taker. All of her abilities help her team bunker down and wear down the opposing team. When attacking, this often means playing a lot of high range damage characters, for taking the longer sightlines, in which most of the other tanks have no effective range in. So Erisa will then slowly push up, continuously wearing down the other team, till she sees an opportunity, and then she rushes in, digs her feet in the ground, and will have a brawl. And due to the superior positioning, the Erisa will likely win if her team has had enough time to gain control of the map. Now on to Winston. Winston is fundamentally different from Erisa and Reinhardt, as those tanks create space by using their shields and bodies to take ownership of the ground behind them. However, Winston doesn't have a significant frontline presence, and as such he uses his mobility to dive and pressure players, taking their attentions and resources, freeing up all the space that your team needs for the fight. However, this is dangerous, and if not planned out beforehand, jumping directly into the enemy team will result in your death. So instead of immediately going for a hard dive, look to make a lot of smaller soft dives to pressure the enemy's map control, but ensuring that there is a way out if they avert enough resources. After a while of these soft dives and map pressure, players will often get out of position, and when they do, this is your opportunity to go in for a dive and make your play. Finally, onto Hammond. Hammond plays a lot like Winston, except with some differences. Hammond is not able to zone resources with a shield, and instead excels in CC and displacement of the enemy team. He needs to look to get himself behind the enemy and to harass them and demand resources or secure a kill. Alternatively, he can also roll into the backs of the enemy tank line and to boot them out of position, which will often lead to them dying in a one fight. As you can see, there are many shared similarities between characters, but each one needs to go about the situation differently. However, the end goal is still the same. Take map control and give advantageous positioning to your team before starting fights. So that's how you go about gaining control of the map. How about general tips and advice that all main tanks can utilize? By far the most important thing is usage of natural cover. Using walls and cover is one of the most important things for staying healthy and out-sustaining in fights. When playing a shield-oriented character like Reinhardt and Erisa, staying next to a wall allows you to regain some health on your shield while not giving away any space you have created. And for tanks like Winston and Hammond, natural cover serves as great spots to stage dives and stay out of sightlines, ensuring that you have the most health possible when going for a dive. Know who has the healing advantage. When in a frontline brawl, it is often important to know which team has a higher heals, as they will have the advantage, and the other team with less healing will try and take advantage elsewhere to break through the tough hold. Know what type of DPS you have. You as a main tank need to change your pace and positioning when playing with snipers versus playing with flankers. A good rule of thumb is the closer the range of your DPS, the faster the pace. So when playing with snipers, take your time to provide them with positioning they need, and when playing with reapers, ensure that you allow them to stay in the face of the enemy as fast as possible and as long as possible. Understanding their damage and CC threats. When playing a tank, one of your worst enemies is CC. Understanding the cooldowns and threats of CC will allow you to dodge or at least minimize the effect that they have. If you get caught out by CC, it allows the enemy team to land crucial abilities like an anti-nade or sniper shots, which can cost a fight, so it is just important if you have a shield to block those and play footsies around cover to bait them out before going in for an engage. Be adaptable. Each game is different, and the same approach will not always work. Sometimes you may need to go for a more unorthodox route or hold less traditional angles, but adaptability is extremely important when playing main tank, and you should never allow yourself to get tunnel visioned on a set play or route. Some games you're going to have to play Rectangle Man Reinhardt, and others you're going to play Whack-A-Mole Reinhardt. So my best advice is just to feel out each game and adapt your play to accommodate the way that your enemy is playing and how your team is as well. Anyway guys, that's currently all I have to say about learning how to play main tank in Overwatch. I'd like to thank anyone who stuck around to the end of the first episode, but if you think I forgot about something, why not leave it down below. Next up in the series will likely be off tank, so why not subscribe to watch that video as soon as it comes out. Till next, see you then.
My phone lights up, but it's never you. I can't help but feel so